going on, guys? Nick Foy here, back with another tutorial. And today we're going to be testing out different speed test platforms for websites. So you could type in, website speed test, whatever. Google's going to pull up the top three results usually are the ones we want. Right now, number one here, this one called Pingdom you want to use. We want the page speed insights by Google developers, and then Metrix. So again, these are like three of the top four search results that should come up if you go to Google and you type in, website speed test. So again, to reiterate, Pingdom, you want to recognize the names here. Pingdom, that's number one. Number two is the Google speed test, and then Metrix. So we'll go ahead and get these links opening up. And what you're going to do is they're going to ask for your URL to your website. So you're going to be pasting in that website URL to all three of these. So we will do, for example, let's do golfpracticeguides.com. So we'll get him there, and we'll go ahead and click on Start Scan. It can pick different cities. So we'll test somebody in New York's Start Test. Then the Google Insights will go here. Type in golfpracticeguides.com. Click Analyze, and then lastly Metrix. So what this is going to do is you're going to get three different sites comparing different things about your website speed. Now, Pingdom and Metrix will put next to each other. They actually spit out page load times. For some reason, the Google page speed, it doesn't put the data here for speed. It just tells you your optimization. So what you can do though is you can go through and fix the different things. So the Google one, that's it's important, but it's not super important. They're going to recommend different fixes if you have a low optimization score. So I'm not sure why this one is a 13. I just fixed a bunch of things yesterday on it, and it was up to like a 30 or a 40, and I had my desktop one up to like a 70, and it's back down to 63. Not quite sure why that happened, what occurred in the last day, but they're going to tell you different things. So reduce server response time. So if we click the drop down, it tells me that my server took 3.1 seconds to respond. So that's causing a lot of load time. We've got eliminate render blocking JavaScript and CSS, leverage browser caching, and optimize images. So to optimize images, you can use different image compression plugins that you can install to WordPress. To leverage browser caching, you normally have to add a line of code to your htaccess file. So if you just do a Google search, browser caching htaccess file, you'll find that code that you can copy paste and insert it into that file. There's a plugin called the Yoast SEO plugin. If we can go ahead, I don't think I have that open, but when you go into the Yoast plugin, there's tools. You click on tools, and then they've got file edit, and when you click file edit, you'll see your htaccess file there. They've got a little box where you could paste in that leverage browser caching code so that you don't have to manually find your htaccess file in your hosting company. It's already kind of easy to find it using that Yoast SEO plugin. Eliminate render blocking JavaScript and CSS. This stuff can be fixed by downloading a plugin called Auto Optimize and just checkboxing the different settings there. They've also got a drop down with advanced settings, so that'll be another tutorial video. And then server time, you can't do much about it. So these 3.1 seconds, that's my hosting company, that's them being slow. So you can maybe change hosting companies. Again, this website's run by Bluehost. I've got another website run by SiteGround. So if we go ahead and type in asknickfoy.com, since that's the website that is linked to this YouTube channel that's got all kinds of website tutorials, marketing, social media. If you go to asknickfoy.com, you can find a lot of cool free resources to help you build your business. But we're going to go ahead and check out what the server response time is. So it's being run on SiteGround. So you can see the mobile for this website is good. It's an 80 out of 100. Desktop 78. So those are really good scores for asknickfoy.com. It looks like my golf website needs a lot of optimization work because it was only an 18. If we come down here, you're going to see eliminate render blocking JavaScript and CSS. So I've not optimized this website yet. So here's a bunch of different files that need optimized. So I'm going to be downloading that auto optimize plugin for this website in the coming days when I get time to optimize this website for speed. So far, I was working on my golf website yesterday. Leverage browser caching, so we can see what's here. Now, some of these you cannot fix. They're external calls, so like the Facebook ones, I can't fix. Google Analytics, so these are when you're calling out to external sources. So like I've connected my website to Google Ads, I've connected my website to Google Analytics, or Facebook Ads and Google Analytics. So these are third-party websites that I've linked my website to. So those you're not going to be able to fix. But the rest of these things here that say asknickfoy.com, I can fix by, setting different browser caching times, which again, I'm going to be going into that Yoast SEO plugin and installing or copy pasting in the browser caching into the htaccess file to fix that. Optimizing images, I use bulk resize photos. I also have a plugin called Smush It. Some of these, we're only going to reduce the file size 30 kilobytes, 25, 24. That's not enough. I mean, 80 kilobytes isn't that big of a deal, so I might not waste the time trying to optimize these images right now. So overall, that's, the little fixes I've got to make this even better. It's already scoring an 80. You can see here that server response time was not an issue because I'm running it on SiteGround. So that is one thing I think I have noticed since doing a test. I switched over to SiteGround for some of my websites and I kept some on Bluehost, and I believe SiteGround is the faster web hosting company. They've also got better SSL certificates. They've got a wildcard SSL certificate now, so you can secure subdomains in addition to your primary domain, which usually you had to pay for a wildcard SSL. So if you run a store on a subdomain, that wildcard SSL is free now if you use SiteGround. So I'll link below to Bluehost and SiteGround if you're, considering which hosting company, but I assume you already have your hosting company and you already have your website. All right, so that's the Google page speed test. So you can type your URL in, it'll give you suggestions of how to fix things. Again, there's lots of tutorials on YouTube that'll walk you through how to fix each of these problems. The htaccess file, the auto optimize plugin, Yoast SEO plugin, things like that can be quick fixes. So let's move on to the actual two speed testers. So we ran the golfpracticeguides.com test here for New York City. So let's scroll down and see the results. It gave me a performance grade of an 81. The load time was 10 seconds, which seems like a lot, but my page size is 4.5 megabits. Most websites, the home page is only, 1 megabyte or less. A lot of times it's 500 kilobytes. It's even less than a megabyte. Mine is a pretty heavy front page, so that's why it takes 10 seconds to load. I've got different images for different blog articles. If I go to it, for example, I'll show you just so you kind of have an understanding. So that's what's kind of going to cause a longer load time there. But we can scroll down here, and again, they're going to give you different suggestions. So I can combine external JavaScript. We can leverage browser caching, minimize redirects. So all these things can be, tweaked if we're trying to improve our speed. But what I like is down here. So content size, it'll show you quickly that images compose 3.75 megabytes of my page size. So if I was to get rid of all images on my home page, that would drastically cut down my page size, and my website's homepage would probably load a lot faster. But I use an image here as the background image. It's kind of like a parallax, so as you scroll, it kind of moves. It looks cool. We've got an image here introducing them to my 36-day challenge, and then all my blog article images that are here that go with the different 8 posts that show. So those all add to it. And then we've got another image here, and then more images here. And I think that's it as far as images. So there's lots of images on this page, as you can see, and that's what's, taking up 3.75 megabytes. And then scripts that your website has to load. When it loads a page, that can slow down your website sometimes, which is why that auto optimize plugin can help, kind of combine scripts to make them load quicker. So overall, requests by content type, you can see the different requests. Now, the last feature down here is a little breakdown of the timeline. So the first 0 to 3.6 seconds is spent doing a redirect. So if somebody types in HTTP, it's probably redirecting them to the HTTPS, which is the SSL secured link that's got, the green security thing there. So if your website doesn't have an SSL certificate, you should probably get one. Google's putting more emphasis on that now. And when people come to your website, they like to see that it's been secured. So that redirect there is one of the big reasons that it cost me, 3 seconds doing a little redirect. And then we've got all the HTML it has to load on this page. A lot of that is images, all the HTML and the images, as well as all the coding at the top, like all of my plugins and different things like that. So that's causing me, another 3.9 seconds. So within the first, let's see, about 4 to 5 seconds here, those two things take shape loading, and then after those two load, then the rest of these things load. Alright, so I take that back. The HTML isn't so much images. That's all these right here. So you can see all these different images. They're already file size. I've reduced them down and compressed them to make them, really small. So these are only 20, 30, 11 kilobytes. So all these pretty much are on top of each other, meaning they're all loading at the same time, because this is kind of a timeline from left to right. So the first 2 seconds spent redirecting, or first 1.8 seconds, I should say, is spent redirecting. And then the next couple seconds here is spent, loading all this HTML code. And then, from there, from like 4 to 5.4 seconds, all these things are happening at once. So it's loading all of my images. And then down here at the very bottom, there's usually one more. So this admin-ajax.php takes a while to load. And then all these other things load. So a lot of times you'll see your page actually, kind of load itself in the first few seconds. So if we refresh here, it's going to spend a couple seconds doing that redirect thing, loading the HTML code. So after about those first 5 seconds, you can start seeing most of your page show up, and then somebody can start scrolling, and within those last couple seconds, the rest of these things down here kind of load at the very end. So they're not really that noticeable, but it's just telling you like the total time it took the entire page to load was 10 seconds. But again, the user might see the page load in about 6 or 7 seconds, and then when they start scrolling, those final 3 seconds, the rest of your page loads that they don't really notice anything. So that's kind of another cool tool. I like using the Pingdom tool. It tells you performance grade, load time, page size. So again, my page is pretty big. That's causing it to take 10 seconds. If you've got a smaller page, you probably want it to be around 2 to 3 to 4 seconds, but it just depends. Like again, my redirect, that's causing me a couple seconds here before it even gets loading the rest of the page. So let's go on to the GT Metrix one. So it's going to tell me similar. It's taking 12 seconds, where this one said, it was taking 10.3. So this one's 12.4. So it's saying a couple seconds longer. Page size 4.47 is consistent with the 4.5. And then again, it gave me a page speed score of an A, where this one was giving me an 81, so a B. So that's not too bad. It'll tell you some things you can do, like leverage browser caching. But again, I've already optimized this for this website. The things that I can't control are the things they want me to fix, like request to Google, to Facebook, to Opt-in Monster, to ConvertKit. All the external websites I've linked to my website, that's stuff I can't really fix there. So that's probably as good as it's going to get. The rest of these things are all looking nice and green. So overall, these are the 2 different tools you can use. Again, I like the Pingdom one just because it kind of gives you a breakdown here of how things are loading on a timeline, in addition to the stats it gives you up here. So you can run some different tests. If we want to change the city, we can go from New York to somebody, let's say in Melbourne, Australia. We'll click Start Test and see what those results are. You can keep making tweaks to your website. Like I said, when you download Auto Optimize plugin, the Yoast SEO plugin, you change the htaccess file to leverage browser caching. You minify your JavaScript and CSS codes. When you do those different tweaks, you want to keep coming back here and clicking retest to see if it gets rid of those things and fixes them. A lot of times I use the Google page one for that. So I'll come down here and it'll keep getting rid of stuff. If you optimize your images, then come back here and click analyze again to retest, and it should get rid of the image one. So that'll go away, and it'll only be a couple things here that are left. So just keep checking things as you make changes to see if it worked or not. And then again, you can test from different locations. So the report from Melbourne is it took 12 seconds, which is again in line with the GT report of about 12 seconds. 80 is my performance grade. Page size, of course, 4.5. It didn't change. And then we'll scroll down here and take a look. So again, the redirect this time took a couple seconds. Then all the HTML code took a few seconds. And then all the rest of the stuff loaded. And then at the very end, we had that admin-ajax thing, which I'm going to try to figure out how to speed some of this stuff up next to try to get my website load time down to under 10 seconds. But a lot of that again has to do with my images that make my page size a lot bigger. So that's it for this video. Just wanted to show you these 3 tools, kind of how to use them and kind of how to analyze the data. Again, to learn more about actually how to fix things to speed up your website, it's not so much that, you know, fixing these things are necessarily going to speed up your website. These are just things that can help it load, you know, a little bit quicker. I mean, like fixing the different JavaScript, CSS might only change a half second, but while that doesn't seem like a lot, and you know, people, they get bored waiting around for a website to load, they might leave or bounce. So, you know, even a half second can make a difference. So you might as well try to optimize things as much as possible. But again, you know, the big part of why your page is taking a while is going to be your server, your hosting company. If you have a fast hosting company, that's going to help your website load really fast. And then if you bog your website down with images to where the page sizes are really big, like mine being 4.5 megabytes, you know, that's going to cause it to be a slower loading page. But if I was to analyze one of my blog articles, you know, it's going to load a lot quicker. I didn't analyze one today, but if I would have analyzed a blog article, it's only got the main featured image and then it's got all my text. So it probably would load about 4 or 5 seconds, much, much faster. This was my home page, so it's got a lot more stuff on it, so it took a little bit longer to load. So thanks for watching this video. Again, Google Page Insights, Pingdom, and GT Metrix are the 3 tools. You can cross-reference checking your website on each of them to see what they all say to kind of get a general consensus of what your website's doing. And I'll also link to them below in the video description for you to help you out. If you want to learn more, just go to asknickfoy.com. It's got all kinds of crazy, awesome tips to help you build your online business, your website. You know, if you're starting to blog, if you're trying to build social media accounts, things like that. I've also got some training courses here you could check out. Profitable Blogger, Profitable Pinterest, and Email Made Simple. I use ConvertKit. And then you've got the latest from the blog. So check those out. You can also check out resources and tools I use. I've got a resources page right here that shows all the tools I use in my business if you're curious, you know, how I run my business. So check those out, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure you are subscribed so that you have notifications turned on and get notified when my next upload comes out each day.